Many people have a coming out story. And by coming out, I'm referring to same sex situations, same sex relationships, be it gay, lesbian, what have you. And, that wasn't the case for me. I didn't have a coming out story. I was never inside of something, having to come out. I had relationships with boys or men, and one day I just had this inner thing that started to awaken. And when I say one day, it's not like on a Thursday at noon. I think it was a one day growing through time and space until that one day materialized when I happened across a woman when I was 18. And that curiosity just uh, bloomed. It sort of grew and grew until the growing became a relationship with her. And I start this off by saying many people have a coming out story because for me, I was just wide open. I had nothing to hide. There were no secrets. This woman who was 15 years my senior would even, come around to the campus. Again, I was 18. I was a senior in high school, but I was 18. My birthday is in April, so, you graduate in June. And so people knew. But the one person I did not involve in the knowing was my mother. But that wasn't unusual because I didn't involve my mother in any of the knowings of my life because I never got the sense that one, she was interested, or two, that she had the ability to be with all of the layers of who I was. So, we keep things close to chest when we do not feel safe to share. And I think that sort of stayed with me through life, being able to perceive people who do not have the ability to hold the fullness. And so, I kept things close. Even today, I keep things close in general, but not away from those who can hold the fullness of who I am, particularly my partner. But in this moment, I'm thinking about sexuality. And I'm thinking about the fluidity of it and how our sexuality has layers, and it is not synonymous with sexual orientation. Back in the day, and I graduated in the 90s, so 1993 to be exact. And back then, it was like you're gay, you're straight, or you're bisexual, but even that was not really a part of the vernacular, at least in my environment. Of course, all things have been always through time and space, even with animals, right? But I'm thinking about how it was like you're on this side of the road or that side of the road, and how sexual orientation was not a choice, it was innate. And I carry that. I'm like, yeah, I didn't choose to be gay. Why would I choose that? With all of the things that comes with, including people having to come out, people being abandoned by family members, disowned, killed, even today, killed, just all of the things. Like, who would choose the harder path? Right, so I just felt like it had to have been innate. It had to have been a seed planted in me already outside of my ability to control, because why would I choose the hard path? I want to be on the path, not on the hard path, but on the path of flow, right? So that was what I believed, that it was innate. But fast forward now 2025, and I'm like, you know what? You do not have to be gay, lesbian, whatever label you want to give it. And when I say whatever, it is not to the diminishment or dismissal of how we want to be called. It's just so many things out there that I cannot begin to name all of the labels, all of the ways. But I don't believe that our sexuality has to be innate. I feel like we have the ability to pick and choose what we want to experience. In the same way that we can pick and choose whether or not we date or are in a relationship with someone who's outside of our race, ethnicity, culture, religion, all of those things. So why couldn't it be the case for sexuality? And I really want to put that out there. Like, there are so many people wanting love, looking for love and holding and connection and something that's fulfilling and authentic and real. And they're just not finding it in the way that they truly want it. And so many people are compromising. And right now, I happen to have in mind heterosexual people. And so lately, I've just been thinking, well, why not try a woman? If you're a woman, if you're a woman out there who has just been dissatisfied or cannot seem to connect with the guy and all, I mean, why not give it a go? I mean, what's the saying? Don't knock it until you try it. I mean, what if you decide to date a woman or just go out and spend time and you're like, oh my goodness, this is what the moment I've been waiting for. Who knew she would arrive in a dress or a tank top and shorts? Who knew? Or even for men. If you feel so inclined to explore and experience some other things, why not follow your inclination? We get one life. And so often we lose ourselves in the public eye. Like, we're more concerned about what others will think about us, what they'll say about us, their view of us, disappointing and letting those people out there down, that we forsake our own journeys. We sort of sweep under the rug or off to the side, growing dust bunnies, our own truth. There's nothing wrong with giving ourselves permission to explore something that's different. We hop on planes, we travel to foreign lands, we call ourselves foodies and we eat roasted, crickets. We do all these things. But when it comes to exploring and experiencing the fullness of our sexuality, we put parameters and limitations on that. Now, granted, we do need some boundaries. I'm not talking about underage anything or abusing anybody or all of that. Please have a safe word. Please do not enter into lands we should not enter into, violating others. Outside of that, there's no reason why we cannot, kiss a girl and like it. Hold the hand of a boy and find your soulmate, if you believe in soulmates. So I just, I'm thinking about myself and my own journey and how growing up, I had boyfriends and all of that. That was the thing you do. I had no models for same sex. That was taboo. That's so taboo, it's off the table. The table is not even in the house to be on top of, right? So, and I thought I liked people and thought I loved people, but it wasn't until I actually was with a woman that I realized, oh my goodness, there's a whole other world out there that I was not able to access. And I followed the rainbow. Look at that, no pun intended. The gay and the rainbow and the whole thing. But yes, I followed the path that led to my joy and my freedom and my happiness. And I did that even at the expense of, if I should call it that, at the expense of appeasing my mother. But I just never felt like I had to appease her, because I had to live my life for me in the same way that she has to live her life for her. And so the night she caught me in the wee hours with this woman, and all hell broke out, or broke loose. And, I'm there naked, and the woman we're all scrambling and moving and shaking. And it's just like, whoa, what is going on here? My mother's yelling, get in the car. So I get in my mother's car. But when she turned the corner, I saw the woman had just parked on the other side of the street. And right at that stop sign, I hopped out of my mother's car and into the car of the woman. And I say that to say, I chose myself. And I want to encourage people to choose themselves, because who else do you choose if it's not yourself? Who are you living for if it's not yourself? Because, and here I go, palliative care, death and dying, no one can carry our fate for us. If I get diagnosed with something, my mother can't take that off of me and walk that out for me. So it's important, at least it is to me, to live my life and to make the choices that enhance the totality of who I am. And I'm thinking about sexuality and it being so vast and wide that if people just sat with themselves long enough and gave it thought, maybe they would explore some other things. If they shut out the voices of whomever, the naysayers, the judgment, the criticism, all of that, if they shut that out, they might choose to experience something different. And I want to encourage that. I want to encourage the exploration of the fullness of our sexualities without having to define sexual orientation. You eat pizza today, you have chicken tomorrow, you do Mediterranean next week, maybe Italian next month, you do Ethiopian next Thursday, and soul food on Sunday. So why, when it comes to sexuality, do we limit ourselves? Well, because that's how we're conditioned. That's what we're taught. That's what we see. But what if that isn't really true for you? What if there's something else out there that if you accessed it, it would open up a world to and for you that just, it made you feel fully integrated, made you feel like the yes of yourself, finally, right? So in this moment, I'm thinking about sexuality and how it's different from sexual orientation, how it has all of these layers and components. And maybe someone just needs to hear this. Please go out there and try something different. Be encouraged. If one thing isn't working, pivot. Because one thing we cannot do is make a yes out of no. Yes to that. Right? I'm feeling excited for somebody, maybe a few somebodies out there who maybe you thought about it like, I want to try to be with a woman or see what that's about. Go on. Be not dismayed. Be encouraged. You have my vote. So today, as we peel back the many layers of who we are, let's peel that one back. And even if we don't feel inclined to explore anything else, let's at least give it breathing space to exist for other people. Life is not limited. It is open and spacious. May we be at the ready to live in the spaciousness of this one life that we get. Here is to exploring our sexuality and finding the fullness of ourselves and being fulfilled and integrated. Yes. Thank you for listening. And thank you for hearing a little bit of my non-coming out story. And just being open to the way of life and all of its layers and the magic, la magia that exists. Thank you for your ear, your time, your attention, your presence. Thank you for coming back week after week and spending time with me. I do appreciate you. I do.